Hello YouTube, Woody here. And this week, we've got some work done on the wiring. As you can see here, there's the truck harness. Retrospect, I didn't really need to pull the whole thing out. It did make it easier, but yep, I just have everything separated in this corner. The corner that was hanging out under the dash and labeled, so you know where all those go. As far as the stuff on the passenger side, like the ignition and whatnot, ignition coil, I'm gonna leave those wires in there because I have a couple emissions plugs type stuff that needs to be plugged in, so this will be easy wires to just cut off the plug and splice in the right plug that goes to that corner. And there's the Frontier harness. All that's junk. And here we have all we needed out of that whole harness. And the biggest thing out of this, there's the alternator main harness, alternator power wires, there's the alternator and oil pressure plug. We got, this is an evap purge solenoid because I am keeping the charcoal canister. I believe this is an AC plug. I just pulled it out, labeled it just in case, but I'm not running AC, so that might be an extra wire. And then this is the Supercharger bypass control solenoid, which I am keeping that as well. Don't really plan on trying to push the boost on this truck. It is stock internals and whatnot. I've heard people have issues with trying to put a smaller pulley on it or removing the bypass. It's just a safety, so I'd prefer to have it make this truck last a little longer. Intake air temp sensor, not 100% required, but I'm just going to toss this in the engine bay close to the air filter. Better to have it than not, but hey, as much as I can keep on this truck, the better. And then, oh yeah, couldn't quite decide, since it was missing, if this thing, some diagrams show it has a map sensor. This is actually the pressure sensor for the gas tank, which I won't be running, but the map sensor is the same part number. So cut this off just in case I need it. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Just better to have it if I do need it. And then ambient air temp sensor, which I don't know that I need it. I was just cutting out everything from the passenger side of the Frontier, so I'm pretty sure this is only for HVAC, and the truck does not have this fancy of HVAC. So, you know, just so I knew what that plug was, I cut it out. And then I cut out the factory starter relay. And the 90s Nissan starter relays tend to have issues. The one in the truck is already bypassed. So, and it's bypassed horribly, and my starter has issues where it just doesn't connect, and so it's one of those wiring problems where I'd just rather use the updated one. And this being an automatic, it actually has a secondary, is 6 wires, so a secondary circuit in there, which would be nice because I actually like running my cars so they don't start unless the shifter is in neutral, so running this to the neutral position sensor as well. So that is good for that. And then OBD2 sensor, got those wires labeled and plugged in. Oh my gosh, can't talk. And then the 3 main wires that connect the engine harness, ECU, to the rest of the chassis. And in all honesty, this one right here, all this connected to was the automatic transmission computer. So don't even really need this one either. So we're not automatic anymore. So it's really just these two. So even out of all these wires, I'm still not using all of them. I just pulled out as much as I could think to use just so that I had it. So I guess it's time to I need to lay that back in the dash. I'm not going to fully install it. I'm just going to kind of lay it where it goes so that it's easy to work on. This will be one where I splice it in the truck just so I know where those plugs will land and where that ECU will land. And I also need to drill that hole in the firewall so that the engine harness can go through it. So let's get to work. Alrighty, so we got the wiring harness finally through the firewall. Nice plug hole there. Had to move some stuff around. Bend a couple of these a little further just to make that stretch. Because I think originally on the Frontier it goes in back there or something like that, and I don't want to do that. Because, yeah, there's not a lot of room to put that through right there with that heater box. So, comes out right there, cut a hole in the insulation. Now we got our wires. So, now I got to drape the dash harness in here and start splicing stuff together. Alright. Well, I got the dash harness just roughly laid in here. Started doing some wiring stuff, and then I realized that the Frontier and the VG has a lot of fuses for different circuits for the ECU, and the D21 doesn't even have a fuse on the main relay. So I'm missing, I was hoping I could just run through the same fuses. I would assume they'd be pretty close being that it's Nissan, but apparently in the 90s they didn't believe in fusing pretty much anything. So I'm missing good 8 fuse spots. So I had to wait a couple days. So I had to order in some stuff. I did get some of those. I've been using the insulated butt connectors and stripping the crappy insulation off to put heat shrink on pretty much all my other wiring jobs. So I got this to make my life easier. Don't have to spend 5 minutes stripping a terminal every time I need to crimp something. But I got a fuse panel, so that should definitely help, especially when it comes to wiring any accessories like lights. Eventually I want a winch. Whatever else I add to this should give me a few extra fuse spots. I believe it's 12 fuse. So yeah, we got plenty of fuses now. The only thing is this is bulky, so I got to figure out a good spot to mount it in here. So yeah, I already think the ECU is going to be mounted right about here, kind of tucked behind this pipe. And there's some mounts for where the AC goes, which this truck doesn't have. So I could build something off that to hold the ECU, and maybe line that like that, or maybe even attach it to that intermediate pipe between the blower and the heater box. I'm not sure. I'll figure something out. I think there's just enough space though, which is good. Alright guys, got this thing mostly mocked up for now. I tried to do final wiring and it just ended up being too much of a pain trying to figure out the length wires need to be, so I just want to hear this thing run at this point, and then I can clean up and mount stuff once I know which wires go where. Still missing some stuff, like a few of the non-necessary sensors like the purge solenoid and air temperature, etc. But these are the main ones that should get it to start. And so I have it ran through that. I still have to put the fuses in. I'm going to put them in one at a time with the key on just to test, make sure they don't pop. And up front here, got extra long fuel lines because I still haven't quite decided how I'm going to route that. I've got some high temp sleeving somewhere that I cannot find that I would like to put on them, but it depends if I can find it, if I have to order more. But this will work at least to test it out for now. And yeah, so I think, well, I need to test crank this. This engine hasn't ran in 3 years, so I need to get some oil pressure moving around, start it a bit, and then we can test fire it. Alright, should be primed. Let's get some fuses in this thing. Fingers crossed. Good for a first start. Oh yeah. Whoa. That sounds good. All right. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Oh, that's all the wiring I've done. And I know I missed last week's video. This wiring is taking me quite a bit of time. Holy crap. And I don't even know what to say on that note. I think I need to get this video out because it's late at this point. But yeah, time to start buttoning some stuff up, but it runs. It runs. Peace out, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Bye.